Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage, hope you are all doing well, and for this tournament report we're going to be looking over, and if I butcher this pronunciation I greatly apologize, Zwolle in the Netherlands, but I'll probably just be saying the Netherlands for the remainder of this video. This happened just this past weekend, for the weekend of March 15th, and we only have one more regional for this year before we go into Worlds and then Teams. The last one being Pasadena, California, which is next weekend, which is going to be really cool. I know a couple people who are going to be going to it. Hopefully we can kind of hear what's going on the ground floor as it's occurring, but before we hop into what all happened in the Netherlands, I figure we do need to go over here to the Buscherode English site and check out and see what was and wasn't allowed. What wasn't allowed was quite a few things, actually, that I realize I need to be on top of for this particular video. So for the Netherlands, you had several things that could not be used, two of which don't really matter because reasons. The other three actually kind of matter to a degree. We have, okay, one of them actually didn't matter at all, because they still had two of them in there. We had, for Netherlands, we were not allowed to use Adventure Time, like any of Adventure Time whatsoever. Marvel, Pixar, those were the two obvious ones, figured couldn't use to begin with. Quintessential quintuplets numbers beginning with W83. That is from the first set of quints. Now, this is the one that's like not really going to matter because you'll see in just a little bit here, but we are going to be double checking. We are going to be checking over each of these deck lists that we see from quints just to make certain that nothing slipped past. But from what I understand, you really don't need but so much from the first set to really matter anymore. And the last one was 7 Deadly Sins, beginning with X03, which is from the very first 7 Deadly Sins set, as you can see right there, SX03. So you could use the 10 Commandments set, but you couldn't use the first one. There was a lot missing from that, so while quints could get away with not using the first set very, very easily, Deadly Sins really couldn't do the same, so we didn't see as much of that in here. We don't see any SDS in the top 8. Maybe there's a random one further down that's some shenanigans going on, but from what I could tell, not going to be the case here. But just to keep that in mind, could not use the first set of Deadly Sins and could not use the first quintuplet set. Alright, so let's hop right into this. We had a whopping 78 players, really freaking awesome there, glad to see the numbers there. And we did it, boys. We got Hololive got a dub for once. Let's go. I was so happy to see this. Hololive has been, if you go up like a good 5 or 6 times, you'll see where Hololive, like right here, just for example in Canada, it happens more. Variations of Hololive like end up second place so much. So I was glad that a Chloe modding especially, I was able to get first place with this. So we're definitely gonna be taking a look at that in a moment here and check and see what all they were rocking. We had a Ruby deck, which is really cool. 3 different standby, but it's basically 8 standby at the end of the day. It's just the fact that there were 3 different kinds running in this particular build. So from what I understood, this deck was putting in some work from what people were saying in the Discord as we were talking. Third place was an Ichika deck. I actually would have thought that Ichika and Nino would have been swapped here, but we do have quints here with Ichika. We'll be taking a look at that. Fourth place was Spy Family with 8 pants. Fifth place was quints in 5th place. Interesting. Was Nino. Like I said, Nino's been having a really good comeback. Just really crazy to see that. But I would have expected this one to have been up higher because of that. However, I like Ichika more, so I'm glad to see that she was the one that got up there. Next, in 6th place, we had Overlord with Door Bar, the typical setup. I do want to see what the change in the setup was there now that, you know, it's been hit by the restricted list. I'm just curious. We had Tokyo Revengers with the dual laners. We covered a lot of that last week. I'm certain there may be variations in it, but I probably wouldn't be able to pick out the cards. I don't know enough about Tokyo Revengers. And last is a Shakugan no Shana with Choice Door. We basically know how the setup for that's going to be, but really cool. I really haven't seen Shana for a minute, I don't think, in the past couple ones. Okay, so the last one was back in February with Jakarta in Indonesia, but we don't even know what the build was for that, sadly. That has not been updated. Before that was Cardiff in the UK. There was also a Choice Door setup. So But we are going to be taking a look at each of these, and my internet is probably going to be really mad at me for pulling up 4 deck lists at one time, so I'm going to pause for just a second, let them buffer, and we'll continue. All right, everything seems to have loaded in, so we're going to be taking a look here at the first place, which was the Hololive deck. I do not know how to pronounce this deck name. I greatly apologize. That could be a slur for all I know, so I'm not even going to attempt it, but congrats to whoever it was that got first place. Obviously, you have the modding top end, very, very common. I'm certain many people know what this is. I was using it in, I actually was using this as my top end in Duluth earlier this year. Or not earlier this year, but earlier this particular BCS. But it was back in October, so that's really cool. But yeah, it is the on attack, pay 1, pitch 1, pitch 1 Hololive specifically. When you have the salvage in play, burn 2, she gets an extra buff. But her main thing, like that's still good and all. But on play, you get to sack another Hololive character to look at up to 3 from the top of the deck. One of them you get to pick goes to hand. One of them goes to stock, paying for her own cost and everything. The other goes to waiting room. So just very, very strong for that first effect, but then also still being able to do the burn and everything's really good. And obviously the level 1 climax combo, I do love the promo, the overframe. I love the overframe rares. I picked them up. I say overframe, but the full arts, basically. I picked those up myself. They're really cool. The level 1 combo being the Chloe of on attack, reveal with the climax, reveal the level 3 Laplace to salvage back a Hololive, and then you top check. If it's a level 1 or higher, it goes to your stock. The one thing that I thought was interesting was they were running 2 of the Suisei anti-change, and none of the there's a Hachima rest counter backup that I would have thought would have been in here. Instead, they decided to up the number of anti-change. I wonder if that was a choice or if it came... See, I gotta wonder if that actually came into play, considering their opponent was the standby deck. It makes me question if that was just, hey, I'll just put in 2 just to see if it happens, but then it maybe played out for him in the end. I don't know. It'd be very interesting. Obviously, just all the good utility in here, just so much good utility. This is one I don't see getting used too terribly much, is this Crony. When your other Hololive gets frontaled, pay 1, sack this to return that character to hand. That might be something I might try using to see if it helps me, like, maybe just bounce the Chloe back and save it or something. Might be something interesting to do. We'll see. Blah. But yeah, nothing else super crazy for this one, but hey, it won. That's all that really matters. Second place was the Ruby. Now, there are a bunch of really, really nice, pretty cards in here. For one, I love the SPs you got in here, my dude, of the Ruby, the Yang. I know Husky Ninja's going to love to see that one. Oh, 2 different Yang SPs. Heck yeah, heck yeah. The secret rare Pyrrha? Yeah, it is the secret rare Pyrrha. Heck yeah. Do you believe in destiny? And I saw down here was like the overframe rare for the Crow climax combo. I thought that was so cool. Anyway, let's take a look at the 3 climax combos. This is the level 3 from the first set. When Ruby's Awakening, which all of these are standby, is placed in your climax area, if you have 2 of the Pyrrha Fall Maidens Festival vessel candidate, I said festival, what the hell? Vessel candidate in your memory, you can rest this, and if you do deal 3 damage to your opponent, then choose a level 3 or lower character facing this card and put it into your opponent's clock. But there's some really fun shenanigans that you can do with this particular Ruby that also combos with the same thing. Basically being able to stand another character, and you can get off multiple attacks. It's really, really strong. So I actually really like this, but I don't own enough of the Ruby cards to be able to do that just yet. I'm slowly working my way up to get a lot of the cards to be able to do some of that shenanigans. At some point, I would love to be able to. But today is not that day. This will be the day we waited for, if anybody knows the reference. A Kiss to Remember By is for this level 3 Pyrrha. During your climax phase, when this is placed on stage by the effect of the standby, you can pay 2 and sack the standby. If you do, you stand her and choose X cards from your opponent's waiting room, return them to their deck. X is equal to the number of remnant characters you have, so you can decompress them a little bit while still early playing. Really cool. The Crow is basically like I know it's really hard to see with this overframe rare and everything, but it's a cool looking card. It basically is like the level 2 Nino from Quince. you can, at the beginning of your attack phase, you can sack the standby to stand this, and it gets an extra 1,000 power to the end of your opponent's next turn. And if all of your characters are remnant, it gets 5,000 power during your turn, and character encore, remnant character encore, obviously. So really cool. But basically, it is a Nino, level 2 Nino clone, but it ended up really being very, very, very powerful. So nothing else super crazy in here, but there's also a lot of like high rarity stuff in here. So if I'm missing like something because it's like an alt art or something, do forgive me. This is the SR up here. I remember it looking differently. I think this is the SR Neapolitan as well. But anyway, really cool there. Let's continue on. This is the Ichika that was 3rd place. I did glance through while cards were loading, and I did not see anything. They passed the deck check, I believe, because this is from a later one. I didn't notice anything that looked like it had the art from the first season, so they get a pass on this. I'm not going to worry about the Nino deck right now. But yeah, no, this is really cool. Glad to see Ichika getting up there. Nino is cool too, but Ichika is my favorite, just personally. So this has a couple climax combos in here because you do also have like multiple different choice triggers. But this particular level 3 can get away with it. Basically, on play, you can pay a cost to grab back any climax with a choice trigger in your waiting room. So you kind of have some freedom, even though you're only running one of this particular like choice down here. You're usually able to get it for your main finisher. So this is kind of an engine, not so much a finisher, is Intensifying Love. When this card attacks, if Intensifying Love is in your climax area and you have a full field of Quints, search your deck for up to 2 Quints characters. Add 1 to hand, put 1 into stock, and this gets 3k extra till end of turn. She can be early played if you have a particular level 0 in your clock, as well as when she gets attacked, you can pay 1 to look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 2 of them, put them into your waiting room, and put the rest back on top of the deck in any order, basically letting you potentially get cards out of the way for cancels. So really nice there. The particular finisher is bold answer checking method with this one. When this attacks, if you have that choice in your climax area of 2 or more other Quints characters, you can discard 1 card. If you do, this gets the following ability till end of turn, up to once per turn when damage dealt by this card is cancelled. Choose up to X cards in your opponent's waiting room. Return them to their deck. Your opponent then shuffles your deck, and you burn for the same amount. X is equal to the number of other quintuplet characters that you have. So anywhere, if you have a full field, you can have, because it says you have to have 2 or more other Quints, so your minimum is 3 characters, and minimum other is going to be 2. So you can do minimum of 2, maximum of 4 for this, for just throwing out the numbers there. If I'm messing that up, please forgive me, but I believe that's how that works. And be able to decompress them a little bit and then do some burn. Next is the level 1 combo, a single lie. When the climax gets placed, if you have 2 or more other Quints characters, this gets the following abilities until the end of turn. On attack, you can pay 1 to twin drive. And because they're both at the same time. At the end of this card's attack, reveal the top card of your deck, choose up to 1 level X or lower character in your waiting room, and add it to your hand. X is equal to the level of the revealed card. So there we go. Awesome. Glad to see Dylan apparently out here with some Ichika. What was the name for this? BCS Zwolle, just for the Ruby one. And lastly, I wanted to take a quick look at the Overlord. Once again, because it got hit hard with the restricted list and everything, I just wanted to glance over it really quick just to see if there's anything funny. And there was. The title was funny. I was given this deck to play. Homeboy was just given Overlord and is like, okay, cool, I'm in the top 8. That's freaking awesome. So obviously the level 1 Vampire Bride combo and the level 2 Yuri got hit on the pick 1 of 3 list with this particular level 1 Ainz right here. I'm not going to go over any of the combos or anything for this one. I just wanted to see if there was anything really crazy, and nothing really seems to be crazy. I've noticed a lot of people running more of this like Cocytus early on. It's like a double rare. I'm just reading it. It's just a free runner, or it runs in front of somebody, and it gets like really, really big. If all of your characters are grotesque, this gains 1,000, and during your opponent's turn, if you have another character, 1,500. So it's like a 4K that runs in front of people. Anyway, Nothing super crazy otherwise. I'm just double checking. I noticed this is one that people are starting to run, because this wasn't really run a whole lot before. Not that I recall. Looking over the deck list, I don't remember seeing this as much, but all it is like an anti-change thing and some standby hate. I just don't remember this being run as much. Maybe they just decided to put it in for safety purposes. There was also like a level 1 Sebas that was run alongside the Shawl tier for one of the other decks. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like the turn it was played, you could pay a cost, like pay 1, pitch 2, search for 2, or salvage 2, or something along those lines. I do not remember exactly what it was, but I know there was another level 1 red Sebas, and I don't see that in this particular build. But hey, it's all good. Homeboy was apparently just like, here, let me borrow this, and just proceeded to kick ass. So, hell yeah, that is awesome here. Once again, congrats to everyone who did top. If you were one of the people who topped in here, or even if you just went to the Netherlands and participated in this event, do feel free to comment down below. Let us know what you were running. Let us know if you placed, whatever, or if whatever your experience was in general for it. Do feel free to comment down below and let us know. I would love to see who all went there. I've been loving seeing a lot of the comments for each of the tournament reports where people have been saying like, hey, I was the one who got this, or hey, I was the one, so like a while somebody commented back, I was the free run player or something, you know, stuff like that. I love seeing all of the people who have commented and shared that their experiences with us for that. It's been really cool to see that. So thank y'all very much. Once again, we are waiting for one more regionals before Worlds in May, and that's going to be Pasadena next weekend, and then next week we will have the tournament report. I'm going to try to see if I can have some particular people up there that I've been meaning to have on a podcast episode for a while. I'm going to try to get them up there and maybe talk about Pasadena as well as maybe some other stuff going on. That is going to be it for us today. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to join the Discord, feel free to check the description. There will be a link to join. Like, comment, subscribe, all that cringy YouTuber shenanigans, and we shall see you on the flip side. Stay based.